Little Feat is a gumbo of American music.
I'm looking at night on the town. A night on the town. A night on the town. A night on the town.
Little Feat was first formed in 1969.
Lowell George was the founder of the band. He was in Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention.
Little Feat got its name from Jimmy Carl Black, who was known as the Indian in the group of Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. He was sitting with Lowell George, and you have to understand that Lowell George had tiny little feet. They were like, we used to call them space pods. They were as long as they were wide. And Jimmy Carl Black just looked down one day and said, "Man, you got little feet."
He was the leader of a band, the first band I was in Los Angeles when I moved there from the Midwest in '66. And I answered a Free Press ad that said, "Drummer wanted, must be freaky."
Lowell, through him, I met the other members of this band. I met Richie Hayward, who was the drummer with Fraternity of Man. We met at a love-in in Elysium Fields, which is a park in Los Angeles that was being raided by the police during a love-in, and we kind of, as we were running out of the park together, we "Hi, how you doing? You're the drummer." "Hey, I'm a guitar player." "Watch out for that billy club."
With the release of Sailing Shoes, Roy Estrada decided that he was going to leave Little Feat and join Captain Beefheart. Great career move. And so now they had to find a bass player, and at the same time they decided to add the second guitar, so I joined in '72 just prior to recording Dixie Chicken. I had known Lowell since I was about 14 years old because he was in high school with my older brothers at Hollywood High.
He was one of the, great songwriter, great poet. He's a big influence on the band.
The reason people should still listen to Little Feat, even though Lowell isn't physically here on this earth playing with us, is that you wouldn't hear any of the great music that he wrote if we weren't out every night playing it.
Little Feat's evolution from the beginning was it's a growing up, it's a rite of passage kind of story.
Neon Park is responsible for the cover art on all the Little Feat albums.
One of the first things he did that was in the public eye was the Weasels Rip My Flesh album by Frank Zappa. I think Lowell picked him up hitchhiking one day in the '60s, and they became friends.
Neon, I guess, would listen to the record, and then he would do the album cover.
And we all developed a really close friendship with Neon, and he was our only artist for the rest of his life. And he died of Lou Gehrig's disease about 5-6 years ago.
He was like a cartoon, lived in his cartoon world, and just had this amazing sense of humor and amazing art, just amazing art. Our newest record is called Kicking It at the Barn. The barn is it's a barn that I have out in Topanga Canyon, California, where Lowell lived, and I've lived for the last 30-something years.
We said, we're going to do this at Fred's barn, okay? I'm picturing, I'm looking at driving through the Pennsylvania, side with these huge barns. Well, it's not, it's an old house.
Kind of more like a big shed in Topanga Canyon in Los Angeles.
It lent itself to a real relaxed atmosphere.
Little Feat is so well known for its live performances. We managed to capture that this time on tape, which is rare.
My favorite memory of it is once the cops came because we were making too much noise.
He says, "Is this because they were explaining it's Little Feat, because the Little Feat?" And well, yeah. And he goes, "Well, I got gray in my hair. I know you guys."
And we thought, wow, we must still be able to rock because we're over 40, and the police are coming to roust us.
We truly were kicking it at the barn. It's exactly what we were doing. We just hung out there. It was a lot of fun.
Kicking at the Barn is one of our first endeavors. as a studio record with our own record label, Hot Tomato Records.
The fortunate thing about having our own record company now, Hot Tomato Records, is that we can make records that we want to make.
The idea of putting Hot Tomato Records together was certainly an idea that Annie DeFranco and people like her, I wish we'd taken our cue a little earlier than we did, but things happen when they happen. Yeah, we were disgruntled with labels, and I figured, well, if they're not going to promote us, then why do we need to be with them other than to get an advance? And if you look at a label as a bank, you can go to a bank and get an advance. You can sell fewer records, which is what Annie DeFranco figured out, or more records, or whatever the market will bear, and you make more money.
I'm hoping that the years of doing 100 days on the road gets whittled down to more like 70, 75, because I do have a family at home that I miss dearly when I'm on the road. But I think by having Hot Tomato Records and by Little Feat being as creative as it is, if we can plan those 75 dates and then use the rest of the time to make great records, I think this thing can go forever.
We have a remarkable fan base. A lot of these people are more dedicated to us than I've ever been to anything.
The Feat grassroots movement was actually started by Bill some years back.
About 5, 6 years ago, I went on the internet and asked people to come to the party. I said, you know, we are going down the hill faster than we can stop. We're on a sled on ice, and we need your help. And people responded, what can we do? And I said, well, we simply want you to let people know when we have a record coming out or when we're coming to your town to play.
We pick you up, hook you up, show you where to go, what to do. They're amazing. They are amazing.
To me, they remind me of Grateful Dead fans, not in the number of them, but in their devotion to the organization.
They're walking around with the clipboard, signing people up. They're selling our merchandise for us during the show, dancing behind the booths, selling stuff. They are amazing.
We have the best fans in the world. I mean, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here, let's face it. That's the bottom line.
Little Feat in so many ways is nothing more than an enormous family.
Oh, you have to be one big family if you're driving on a big red tomato bus with 13 people on board.
The family that I've known probably longer than my own personal family, if you will, even longer than my wife and my kids. I mean, I've been around these folks for 32 years now, or longer.
We're all like seeing each other again. We haven't seen each other for a month and a half, and you know, it's like seeing your brother again. You know, you get the warm feeling.
Little Feat is my life. That's it.
It's turned into a very deep relationship of people who would not normally ever be in the same room, but here we are, 34 years down the line, and we're still in the same room. It's kind of a miracle that we lasted this long, and it's great. It's really good.
Survival. I think the secret of our longevity is survival.
I think the longevity of the band, if you ask anybody, the first thing out of their mouths will be that we've never had a hit single, and that's what keeps the band going.
And which goes right back to our fans again, who will not let us go. You know, I figure if we stayed off the road too long, they'd be knocking at our door, going, "Who's dead? What's wrong?"
We love the music, and it's the way we can personally express ourselves, and we've grown to love each other.
People say, well, you know, when does this tour start? When does this tour end? It never really ends, and it never really starts. It's just been going on since 1967, and it hasn't stopped.
We've never been a slave to pop music or to fads. You know, we've always been our own, we've marched to our own little feet.
Thank you very much.